Papa's Magazine! Hey everyone, and welcome back to Super Mario Odyssey, and it is dinner time in Luncheon Kingdom. And here we are, just getting straight into the action and diving off the edge. And you can see it is not healthy for Mario whatsoever. So you need to stay on the main path and not find yourself out in this soup. It is too hot for Mario, so don't do what we just did very often. You can kind of survive maybe a little bit in the hot soup, or the hot lava, or whatever it is. It looks like weird hot bubblegum or something, I don't know. But you can't stay in it for too long. So we're going to need to figure out a new way to make it to these secret areas. But we're just going to climb up here and pick up these purple coins, which you can see here. Or purple apples, or who knows what they are, but this is Luncheon Kingdom, so everything's kind of food related. So we've got the 3 purple coins there, and we're just going to head on out down here and see what we can see. So to start with, we've got a few Goombas, so we're just going to take over the Goombas and jump and create a little bit of a stack, and then we've got some more kind of the bubblegum stuff, the boiling bubblegum to get out of the way of. And we're just going to head down here and make it over to this little ledge over in the corner. So now this is a bit tricky, so you need to kind of be really careful about your footing here, but just try and take it slowly and make it across to this side, and you should be able to get to the lovesick Goomba lady who will give you a moon. So then it's just the case of jumping on out, picking up the moon, and you can head on back. So now we've got the first moon in the bag, we can head back to see what else is going on in the Luncheon Kingdom. So it's pretty kind of, at the moment, you kind of feel like there's no way past anything, you can't get anywhere. You've managed to get over here by the skin of your teeth, and essentially this kind of, the hot lava stuff, or the hot bubblegum, is stopping you from getting anywhere. And then you've got these crazy red hot tomatoes that kind of splat on you, and you've got sort of flames jumping up out of the lava, and at the moment it kind of looks like you might be a bit trapped and there's no way through and you've got nowhere to go. So it can start out by feeling a little bit like you don't know where you are or what you're supposed to do, but you can see in the distance that you need to go in that general direction. So it's something over there somehow, so maybe another crazy run and jump out here. So we made it out here, but all we got for our efforts is another moon. So we got 2 moons, but we've still got no idea how we get over to the other section. However, kind of if you look around, kind of you can see these flaming flamers jumping out, and it turns out you can take them with a hat. So Cappy can take control of these, and that suddenly unlocks new areas of the world. So this kingdom suddenly becomes much more accessible as a result. So now you can make it to kind of ledges out here without necessarily worrying too much about getting killed. So just take over another one and head out, and suddenly kind of the world's your oyster a little bit, or you know, certainly your lava pit, so you can run around and try to get to new areas. So there's nothing else around here, and when you take one of those little flame dudes out of the lava, they disappear. Now we could probably get a flame dude around here to try and get those purple coins, but to be honest it would just take a hell of a lot of time, and we've used up quite a lot of time already just picking up 2 moons. So we're going to try and crack on with the rest of this kingdom and actually might try and make some progress through the main portion of the game. So we're just going to take over this here flame dude here, and we're going to get over to this section in the corner, and suddenly we've got access to the main area, and it feels like something's gonna happen, and it does. We get a Broodals boss fight to go against. So we've taken on this guy before, but this time he's a little bit more difficult. He's spitting out a little bit more lava, a bit more of his poison, so you need to get in the hits as best you can. And you can see it's a bit of a bigger course, and it's not quite as confined as the last one was when you faced him, and he's still doing the same kind of things, but a little bit more difficult to face. So now we've taken a bit of a hit there, so it's going to be a bit difficult, but luckily we've got a heart to pick up. So then he goes back to doing his spin move, and it's just a case of pretty much just staying out of his way, waiting for him to stop and keeping your distance, because that way you can wait for him to spit out all of his poison stuff, and you can then just head in, use Cappy to clear the decks, get in a hit, and then finish him off. So there we go, that's that dude done. And we've got yet another moon for our efforts. So we can see we can get up to the top of that roof, and there's a few more purple coins, so we're just going to head up and grab those and see if there's anything else we can find, because this is a level where there's a lot of moons. You need a lot of moons to be able to get out of it, so it's worthwhile picking up anything you can find along the way. So coming up here and doing a little bit of investigation, we found the purple coins, but we can also see up in the distance ahead a beautiful moon at the top of the salt pile. So we're just going to head up and pick that up now, which will take us to 4. And as you can see in the little icon chart on the left hand side, top left hand side, that's 4 of 18. So we need 18 moons to be able to leave Luncheon Kingdom, so we still need another 14 to be able to do it. So if you head back to this main area where you took on the Broodals and head over this bridge, you should be able to find your way to the next part in the game. So we're just going to head up with this fork dude and flick up, and we are in a new area. So we need to get the fast travel point over here to be able to find out what it's called. It's Peronza Plaza? What does that even mean? Peronza Plaza. Anyway, that's where we are, and we're just kind of having a chat with these fork dudes, and it turns out there's a crazy bird hogging the soup that they make on a regular basis. So just using the binoculars, we can see a little bit more about what's going on. You can see this is kind of the main area that we're in now, and we're going to need to make it through all of that and make it over there to the under the cheese rocks to crack on with the rest of the game. So we're just going to head out and try and do some of that now. We can see sort of crazy cap here as well, and you can see there's a place on the left hand side where we can't get in, but we're going to try and take out these blocks and see what's behind here, because it looks like there's something shimmering, and it turns out to be a power moon. So we're going to need to do a little bit of wall climbing, a little bit of kick jumps to be able to climb up here and pick that up. So there we go, that takes us to 5 of the 18 moons. So we're sort of slowly getting there a little bit, but there's still a long way to go really. So we're just going to have a look quickly behind here to see if there's anything, and it turns out there's a few purple coins and there's a bit of a stairway to make it up. So we're just going to have a look at the top of here just to see if there's anything really quick and easy for us to grab along the way. It doesn't look like there's much here, so we're just going to jump across here and just having a little look around, and you can see that's where the giant cauldron is at the top of that mountain behind us, which is where we'll need to get to eventually, but for now we're just going to smash up some paint cans. Yeah, take that, Luncheon Kingdom, if you weren't colourful enough. And we're going to get up here and grab these purple coins. So that's another 3 purple coins in the bag, and we've probably got enough for a bit of an outfit change. But before we head in to do that, we can also see a little bit of a door here, and it looks pretty clear that there's going to be some kind of moon prize along the way. So it's pretty much Sand Kingdom themed. So we're just in here, and it's a bit Mexicana, and we'd need to be able to line up the power moons to be able to get the power moon essentially. So you can see here, there they are flicking away, and you've got to kind of count it down to be able to get the right kind of hit in with Cappy. Now it's good to stand over to the side like this, because you should be able to get 3 of them all at once if you get the timing right. So then you've got to come over this side and repeat the same thing again. So just try and get your timing right and count them down. You should be able to hit out your cap to be able to pick up all 5 of them, which will give you the power moon, which is excellent and takes us up to a mammoth 6. That's Luncheon Kingdom slots. So we can just head back outside and see if we can carry on up and around to that weird cheers block that we've got to get to. So if you head out and head down the stairs, follow it around, you'll find a few coins to pick up. So that's quite a big haul there, and then we should be able to track back around, kind of just heading around this corner and over these turnips, I think turnip patch, maybe a turnip patch, past the turnips and back out here. We're kind of back to where we were. Now we're just going to head in to go to Crazy Cap, and get Mario a little bit more in keeping with the theme here. So there he is in his chef's outfit, and we can carry on up the pathway to try and get to the weird cheers thing. So you can see there's a bit of a cauldron there, and there's plenty of other things that we can do. There are moons around here for sure, but we just want to make sure we get into the main section of the game and try and carry that on so that we can get a little bit closer. We'll be able to do get out of the place a little bit quicker if we can get a multi-moon or two. So we're just going to head up here and see if we can jump up. It turns out it's too high, so clearly we're going to need to use these steps. So just sort of heading back, grabbing some purple coins along the way. So that takes us up a little bit closer. So that's 18 of the 100. So still a long way to go on purple coins here. But then you can head up here and start jumping up this little causeway. So if you kind of time your jumps right, you should be able to make it up to the top of here. So you can see it's a bit tricky, and you can't just go up through the middle like you did in Sand Kingdom. So it's not quite as easy as you might think, but you can use these if you can time it correctly to be able to make it up to the next level. So make sure you're in the center when you're kind of watching your shadow and kind of land on the main center area of each one, and you should be able to get up to the top and make it up to the next ledge. So a little bit more tricky than you might be used to, but definitely worth the effort, because this is where you need to go. And so looking down there, you can see there's a few other things that you can perhaps come back to do later on, but we're just going to carry on up here and see if we can't progress the story of this kingdom. So we're just going to take over this this little Goomba for a little bit, but it kind of doesn't look like there's anywhere he can go anyway. So we're just going to head up here and carry on around the corner. So that Goomba is going to get us. So we're going to have to go back up, and we're going to get you, Goomba. That is really bad form, dude. You know, normally we just ignore you, and you've got to get up in our grill. So we've got to take you out. So just continuing up and around to see what else there is in this general direction. And it kind of looks like there's some cheese here, and there's some purple coins down here. So we're just going to grab these purple coins and crack back into the main route. So just heading back over here, and you can see the kind of the beam of light shining down. That's clearly where we need to get to, and we can see some hammer brothers kind of throwing their pots and pans, and we can take over them and start hurling them ourselves. So when you hurl these at the cheese blocks start to disappear, and you can also hurl them at the other hammer brothers to be able to take them out, or any enemy really you can pretty much take out with these crazy frying pans. So if you hit the hammer brother dude directly, though, you will take a bit of damage. So it's worthwhile keeping your distance from that dude, although it is a lot of fun just hurling out these pans. Now, not all the cheese reveals a great deal, so sometimes you might put in a little bit of effort and not really get too much, and your pans won't break through this block. And there's no way to get through. In fact, you can do a ground pound and you still won't make it through. So clearly we need to make it up and around through this route directly up through that cheese. So we've got to head back up and around as the Hammer Brothers, and we're just going to try and get out of the way of that dude, although he managed to get us. We've taken him out now, so now we've got a free chance at taking on the cheese. But you can see how quickly they respawn, so you just got to get out of their way fast. So now we're up top here, we're just chipping away at this cheese to see what we can see underneath it. So there's a little spiny coming after us, so we're just trying to stay out of his way. We got a bit lucky there, managed to take him out with a P. He definitely deserved that. So we're just trying to take out all of this cheese, because this looks like the main area that we've got to get to. So it can take a little bit of time, and the aiming system is a little bit wayward, but you can see we've managed to reveal a switch, and hopefully that switch will give us access to that moon. So we're just going to leave the Hammer Brothers, in fact take him out, and we're just going to turn that switch with Cappy, and suddenly we've got access to the moon. And we just head down and pick up the moon, and that opens up this whole section here called Path to the Meat Plateau. So there's kind of all sorts going on. You've got some more of the tomato dudes there. You've got a lot of the lava jumping up, and you've got the hot sauce or whatever it is in the ground around you. So you're pretty much trapped, and you're going to need to use these lava dudes to be able to get around. So kind of if you jump on over, you're out into the main area, and you can make it up to this kind of main route over around here. And there are more hammer dudes to take on, hammer brothers to take on. So we'll just take over one here, and you can see there are kind of more purple coins to pick up down there, but we kind of feel like we just want to move on with the game and get this story progressing, because we suspect there's going to be a lot more further on. So we're just going to head on up, bouncing up the little path, and we're going to try and get up here and see what's going on. So we're just going to go around the corner and take a little jump and jump out of this dude to be able to get to the top of this ledge and give it a little pound and see what we get. We get some coins. Who needs coins? We're fine for coins. Anyway, after that minor distraction, we'll head on down here and take over this fork to jump up here. So you keep on heading around and again take over the fork and fire yourself up to the top. So you just take over and flick up and you take over meat plateau, and you can see this huge chunk of meat under here. So take over it with Cappy, and then apparently you just got to press B and you'll twitch the meat and you'll relinquish the meat, which was in some kind of like salt crust. So then just give it a little twitch, and what you're trying to do is get the attention of the bird, who will come down, carry you up to the top cauldron and drop you into the stew. So we're just going to head around on these weird, who knows what they are, like what's that, a square cabbage, who knows. We can see some corn on the cob that we can use, but we're just gonna head over that way and try and grab the coins as we go. Just the showboating. We're just going to do some showboating here. So we're just going to do some very slow showboating. So just slowly making our way over to this random section in the middle of the stew. Who knows what this is supposed to be? Maybe a couple of blocks of salt, but that gives us another multi-moon. And that takes us up to 10. So then we're just going to fast travel up to the kind of the next area along where we want to go to, which is climbing up the cascading magma. So we're just going to head a little bit closer here, and we've taken ourselves to Meat Plateau, and by doing that it just kind of avoids some of the travel. Now it's not quite close enough that we don't have to do any of the travel, but it's a slightly easier route. So we're just going to jump on down and try and take that route now. So you can see kind of down here is where we've been quite recently, and there are the Hammer Brothers, but they are not throwing saucepans anymore, or frying pans. They're throwing what looks like lava balls. So try and stay out of their way, because they can get pretty mean. So take over another one of the lava balls and head on over to be able to get to this area. And luckily these dudes are still throwing just the saucepans. So again, we're going to take over one of those, and we're going to use them to try and move a little bit quicker through this area, because actually they've got some really good jumps to do. So kind of just heading up here, jumping and chunking all of this out, and we're just going to head on down here. So if you just kind of head up this path over here and jump on over, utilizing the Hammer Brothers' jump function, then you can make it to the top of here, and we can see we're a little bit closer to where we want to go to. So it looks like it's just behind us and down there. So we're just going to jump on top of these buildings, and we're just going to try and make it through this as quickly as possible. So we're kind of pointing in the right direction now, and we're just going to jump on down and pick up some purple coins along the way, because they happen to be here. Jump back on top of the weird arcade building, and it looks like it's just down here and around the corner. So we can see another Hammer Brothers down there, but he's kind of out of the way, and we are exactly where we want to go to. So this is the Volcano cave entrance, and we're just going to head into the entrance now, and we're just going to do the kind of the 2D thing and head out the other side. So the 2D thing's relatively easy, and we'll let you kind of take that on yourself. But once you're out here, it's back onto the corn and doing the weird little jump thing to try and whale it over in this direction. And then once you're kind of close enough, you can jump off. Now there's another little ground pound to pick up in the corner, so we're just going to do that, and it looks like it's just the heart, which we kind of didn't need, but we can head on through this little cave, and we're moving in the right direction now, so we can see we need to head up there. But clearly we're going to need a lava dude to be able to do it. So you can see one jumping out there, and you can see there's another one jumping out here, and taking those posts does absolutely nothing. So anyway, we're just going to head up and dash and use B to jump to be able to make it over these little posts. So there's a few purple coins to pick up on this side, and we kind of think we saw another set of purple coins down here, so we're just going to head down and do a little B jump to be able to grab those, and then jump over these logs. It's kind of the lava dudes have got a pretty good jump, so it's relatively easy to get to the top of here, and then it's just a case of jumping down the ledge and moving on down to the next section. So kind of just jump on down and come around the corner. I don't think you can jump up the main route, but you should be able to jump up onto this path here and jump into the middle. Now you kind of imagine there's going to be a moon here, but there isn't. However, you can see there's one of the little flame pits that isn't lit, so clearly we need to light that now. So we're just going to take one of these flame dudes, and we're going to try and use him to jump out and light it. But try not to do what we've done and found ourselves stuck in the flame pit, which gives Mario a bit of a pounding, and he loses a heart as a result. So we're down to 2 hearts, but it does give us the moon and a new ledge to be able to walk across, which takes us into this area. And we can see 2 more flame pits here, and we can see a piranha plant throwing flame balls at you. So you can see that's what we want to be able to do, and we want to get it to fire one of those at each one of these flame pits. So we're just going to head close to him, and when you get close he will then fire one pretty much right at the flame pits. So we're just going to repeat that on this side. So he's just going to throw another one at the flame pit, and that should give us another moon. So that will add to our tally, and that takes us up to 12 moons, and we're getting a lot closer to the 18 that we need. It's now no longer feeling like an unattainable amount. It's a bit more achievable. So now we've got to take on these little islands and jump on across. So you can see kind of there's more piranha plants to take on. There's a little chest in the corner that we're going to try and get. So jump on across, try and stay out of the island, out of the magma, and that was completely useless. Don't bother, guys, if you're at home doing this. Just ignore that chest because it only gives you coins. That's so annoying. Anyway, heading back across, and we're just going to continue along the main route, and you can see there's another couple of piranha plants to take on. So hopefully this time we can get across without taking a hit. So we've managed to get Cappy at him, and we can jump on over and try and see what's inside this little block here. So we've got more flames coming at us, and we just got to dodge those as best we can, and then we're just going to get this block. Sadly, it's not a heart, it's just some more coins. Who knew coins were going to get so annoying? Anyway, so we've got a lot of coins here in Luncheon Kingdom, and what we're really looking for is power moons. So we're just going to continue along this route here, and you can see kind of there's something in the distance there. It looks like Explorer Toad, Captain Toad. So we'll maybe come back and have a look at that dude a little bit later, but we're going to start the climb up this hill. And to start with, we're just going to go over here and grab these purple coins, which is a lot better than the standard coins that we got a little bit earlier, which was so annoying. But if you continue up this hill, then you will find the next part of the journey up to the top of this mountain area, or this kind of the volcano, I think it is, that we're heading up. So we've got to make it to the top, and there's a few forks that we can take, or you can just jump on up. And we've got some spinies at the top as well, so you're going to need to stay out of their way. So just sort of jump on up, get the spinies out of the way, and you can take over the fork to jump up here and pick up yet more purple coins. So that takes our tally up to 46 of the 100. So now we're just going to continue heading up this path here. So we've just got a few more jumps to do. Come on, Mario, jump it up. And we've just got this spiny to get out of the way of. Now you can see the bubbling hot plate there. We need to jump onto this when it turns over, and then it's just a case of taking out this piranha plant, and then we've got some kind of precarious walkways to be able to make it over. So you can see how difficult it is to stay on them with these peppers firing at you. We almost fell over. So we're just going to wait for this next pepper to come on by, and then we're just going to try and run on around to this little space around the corner and try and get across without getting smashed by a giant killer pepper. So there we go, we managed to make it across, and now it's the case of taking over this flick fork and jumping up the path some more. So jumpy jumpy jump, and we've got some more of these dudes to take over and some more of the hot plates. So this is actually really quite difficult, and we had quite a lot of difficulty doing it. You can see there we kind of lost our footing and managed to find ourselves right back down here. So we figured while we're down here we're going to pick up another moon anyway, because we need a fair few in Luncheon Kingdom. So we're just going to head over here and see Captain Toad. So we managed to land on him and he gave us another power moon. So that is epic, and we're up to 13 now. So we're just going to fast travel our way back over and head back up to the top of here to try to make it across these precarious jumps. So just try and land in the middle and watch where your shadow's falling, and we kind of get a little bit lucky here and manage to jump off onto this ledge. And if you do, then you have pretty much made it across. Now you can see there's more hot plates over there, which would make it quite tricky, but we're going to take a shortcut. And so you can see this little pathway up here. If you pound jump, you can just about make it to that ledge, and then you can jump up here and you've got some more crazy jumps to do. So we kind of tried a few different things. We tried jumping off the wall to be able to do it, so jumping off the side wall, and we tried somersaults and kind of lots of different things, but it turns out the best thing to do is jump off that wall there and be able to turn around to do a cappy on the fork to be able to make it up, and that cut out a lot of the more difficult stuff down below, which you can see. Now there are some purple coins to grab down there at a later date if you wanted to, but for now we're just going to head on up now that we've got that fast travel point and take over another one of these lava dudes. So we're at the top of the peak climb and we're just going to fire on up into the stew pot, and here we are taking on the cockatiel chef crazy dude, and he is just firing everything at you. Or certainly looks like everything, looks like kind of weird fruit and veg, and we're just trying to chase it down at this point. So you can see we're trying to get close enough to be able to do some damage, but it doesn't look like anything will hit him. However, when he fires out this little lava blast, you can head on up there. Now you need to avoid the vegetables that it also spits out, but once you get to the top you can jump onto its head and scorch it, and that is the first of the main hits. So there it goes back to sort of flapping around, and while it's doing that you should be taking out as many of these impediments as you can. So there you go, just sort of take out anything that might get in your way, which would make it more difficult to get up the top of its kind of weird sick flow that it kind of belches out at you. So here it goes again, it's doing a zigzag flow of sick this time, so just try and make it up, jump over any fruit or vegetables that it fires out, and there we go, that is the second of the hits. So we're looking at kind of one more hit to go, and again we're kind of going back to the same tactic of trying to take out anything that's in the way. So we're just trying to take out these kind of random blobs of, hey, they could be just big blobs of fat, who knows what they are, big blobs, and we're just kind of circling around and we're waiting for it to barf up at us again. So kind of keep just circling around, stay out of the way of everything, and it will hurl out its last barf. And these are little stepways that you've got to jump up, which makes it quite difficult to do. So just keep on jumping as you're going up. Try and stay out of the way of any of the veg that comes flying out, and just make it to the top and get in your hits, and there you go, that is that dude cleared. So the weird chef cockatiel is completed, and we've just picked up the multi-moon, which takes us up to 16 moons, and we only need 2 more to be able to finish off here in Luncheon Kingdom. So we're just going to do a little bit of fast travel back to the path to the meat plateau, and we're going to jump straight on up here and see what we can see over the ledge here. So there's a few purple coins, but you can see down there in the kind of pink lava there is a lot going on, and more than enough power moons for us to take us over the tally. So we are going to head down there and try and pick them up next. So just having a quick skim around to see how we're going to get down there. So you can see the shadow of the moon that we've already taken there, but we're just going to take over this lava dude and head on out into the ocean of lava. So we're just out here into the middle, and we can see there's a load more purple coins for us to pick up, so we're just going to grab those first. There's kind of like quite a few out here, so this is going to take our tally up to well over the 50 mark, so quite close to 60, but not quite. So then we've got this note over here, and if you track this, make sure you go quickly, move as quickly as you can to be able to sprint through it, and then it's just a case of tracking the notes. And if you can make it around this corner and do the right kind of time jump and jump back down and die a little bit as Mario, then you should be able to pick up the moon. So I'm sure that was worth it. Mario didn't mind getting his lovely outfit scorched there, because it was all worth it, and we managed to get the moon. So now we've got a new little section here, and this dude says he needs to flatten out any bumps up there. However, there is a load of veg being fired out by some kind of veg processing unit that must have gone wrong somewhere along the line. So when you see a space, head in and knock down one of the bumps and head over and get the second one over here to the left hand side, and you can see there's yet another one here, and as soon as you jump over here you should be able to get that one, and then there's one more here, so just sort of pound that down, and there must be one more over on this side, so I think it's just down there over that ledge, but all the veg is firing at it. So there we go, we're just going to take that out, and that gives us yet another moon. So we're just going to head over and pick that up, and that will give us more than enough moons to be able to move on from Luncheon Kingdom. So that is the 18 completed. However, we kind of saw something a little bit interesting around this corner, and there is also a pipe at the top here. So we're just going to head on and do some of that before we move on to the next kingdom, because it kind of looked too cool to just ignore. So we're just going to head on through this painting, which looks like it's going to be some kind of Peach's Castle deal. So we're just going to head on through, and that gives us access to Mushroom Kingdom, or at least a little bit of access to Mushroom Kingdom. So we can get that kind of quick travel there, and we can head around, and this is Yoshi's house. So he kind of doesn't look like much of a house in all fairness, but hey, he's got a fire going, but apparently he's not in. But there is some kind of weird star at the top of his chimney that we want to try and get to. So we're going to try to see if we can get to it by climbing this tree. So just sort of scampering up to the top and trying to get a little bit of a jump. So we just need to angle ourselves as best we can to be able to try and get across there kind of as well as we can, but that doesn't seem to work. So we're just coming around to the front of the fireplace and trying the hat, and that turns out it can take out the fire, and we can wall jump up to pick up that star. So that's our first moon in Mushroom Kingdom, but we won't be able to come back and get any more moons here until after the game. So we are just going to continue on here back in Luncheon Kingdom, and we're going to head into this pipe because it's kind of too good to miss too. There's a bit of a windy path to be able to make it there, but it isn't that difficult, so we're going to leave that one to you guys. And once you've picked up that moon, you can head all the way back to the Odyssey and fire it up again. So now it is powered up, and we can move on to the next kingdom, which appears to be Bowser's Kingdom. So we're going to set off there next. However, things kind of get a little bit sidetracked along the way, and turns out we have crash landed in Ruined Kingdom, and this is where we will continue the walkthrough in the future. So for now, that's the end of our walkthrough video. So thank you very much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave any comments you have below. Hit that like button, and we will catch you next time. Magazine!